Picture a room, mud brick walls, a single oil lamp, a woman who gave birth 3 days ago, exhausted, drifting in and out of sleep. Her family has gone to eat, and she is all alone for the first time. In the corner of the room, something shifts across a vast stretch of the world, from the mountain villages of Armenia down through Iran and out across the steppes of Central Asia. Mothers have known this moment for centuries, not as a superstition, as a fact. The first 40 days after birth are a siege, and the creature laying that siege has a name. They call her the owl. To understand all, you must accept that she is not just a static monster. She is a shapeshifter of fear, and her very name is giving you the clue. In ancient Persian, all means red. Look at the descriptions of Iranians, and you will see it immediately. A red face, a reddish tint to skin. The name is not incidental, it's a warning written into the word itself. In Iran, she looks almost human, and that's what makes her worse. A gaunt woman, thin limbs, pale skin, with that unsettling flush of red. Her nose, in some accounts, is described as being made of wet clay or kneaded dough, something that's not quite completely finished. She stands at the door and watches. Cross into Armenia, and she becomes something harder: iron teeth, copper claws, matted hair hiding her eyes that burns from somewhere deep inside. And in some accounts, a pointed hat with a lot of small bells. Why? Because when she wears it, she becomes invisible. Now she's not watching anymore. She's ready. And in the nomadic traditions of Central Asia, she's Alwasi, bloated, heavy, carrying a woolen bag. And what's inside the bag? Not gold, not food, the heart, lungs, and liver of every woman she has already taken. All is not one creature. She is a family of fears that grew independently across hundreds of years and thousands of kilometers into the same shape. That convergence should unsettle you. Now, why does she take the liver, you might ask? In the ancient Eastern view, liver was not just a secondary organ. It is the seat of jigar, a Persian concept that sits somewhere between the soul, intellect, and the very will to live. You can still see and hear the echoes into language itself, language today. Jigar is used as a term of deep endearment today in our language. To call someone your jigar, jigar mani, is to call them your life itself. So, all by taking the liver is not just committing a murder, she's committing an erasure. And her method is precise and frantic. She enters in silence, watches, and strikes only when the mother is alone. Then she runs with a speed that defies her body, runs to the nearest river. Why? Because the liver must be washed in running river before it can be consumed. It's the rule she cannot break. Now, you might hear the story and recognize something familiar in it: postpartum depression or any other condition that causes a new mother to fall into seizure or in a unresponsive state, something that's unexplained and it's fearful. And in pre modern medicine, it was almost always fatal. They all did not do this stuff, but it gave them a shape and a name. It gave a community something to fight with when fighting was otherwise impossible. They all operates by rule, and whatever operates by rule can be fought. Iron is her primary weakness, and it's not unique to her. Across almost every folklore tradition that predates modern metallurgy, iron is a repellent of supernatural forces. A theory says that this fear of iron was written into the legend in Bronze Age when iron weapons were first appeared and they seemed impossibly powerful to people who have never encountered them. But whatever the origin is, the rule held. Iron repels and confuses all. So the new mother's room becomes an arsenal. Shears under the mattress, needles in the door frames, and knives under the pillow. And then there were these decoy cradles. They would put two identical cradles in the room so they all couldn't identify the real child. Sheep's lungs and livers were hung in the courtyard, a literal substitution offering, basically buying safety with something that's not human. These things were not just simple primitive superstitions. These were negotiations with fear. A community that could not stop a mother from dying of a fever built a system just that would say, at least we tried our best, we did everything we could, we didn't leave her alone. The all is still spoken of, not everywhere, not always seriously, but in villages of Iran, Armenia, Azerbaijan, you would see people who still believe in it, people who still believe you have to keep some iron in the room of a mother who just gave birth. I know a lot of people that still believe a mother who has gave birth should not be left alone in the first 40 days after giving birth. Now, this is it a belief, a habit, a memory? Maybe all of it. But what I keep returning to is this is not about a monster, fear of monster. She was about a particular terror of loving something that's completely new and fragile in a world that has no good answer when that fragile thing is lost. The all is something that the community built to explain the unexplainable. And we still build this explanation, we just don't always recognize them as the same thing. If you have grown up with the same kind of concept of stories under different name, different language, I would love to hear it. If you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe to my channel, introduce it to your friend, and see you next time.